本節目內主持人及嘉賓的言論純屬個人意見，並不代表本台立場。
Right, so welcome back to the second part of Boiling Point, and with Liu Xiaobo's recent death, there are quite a lot of feedbacks from it's like basically everyone. It's like this morning or not last night when I scroll my Facebook, it's like all flooded.
Yes, there is a campaign. It's a campaign, like a campaign of what Chomsky would call indignation. So,
what do you mean by indignation?
Well, the West is, and the Western media is basically saying, you know, how...
You mean the CNN and
yeah, I mean, yes, yeah. They're being very self-righteous, moralistic, preachy, because it's an opportunity now, with the death of Liu Xiaobo, it's an opportunity to say or to express humanity and to say, look, we are so humane, and China is so evil, and so. You know, I think, as I said before, if the similar thing happened, but in Saudi Arabia, or Israel or Iraq, these states that are kind of clients or depend on the US and are in kind of good relationships with the US, you wouldn't hear about it. We hear about it. There's a huge campaign now because China is the enemy.
Well, he's the next big enemy.
Well, it is the enemy. I mean, in a way, the war's already started.
I mean, the Middle East, they're winning, right?
Pardon?
In Iraq, in Syria,
right. Okay. Yeah.
They're kind of winning.
But for example, when something awful happens in like Saudi Arabia, for example, maybe a woman is sentenced to death, and because
they're rich, they cover everything.
So Saudi Arabia can, all these types of bad things happen in Saudi Arabia, but the Western media won't report it because Saudi Arabia is not the enemy. So Western media is very hypocritical.
Yep, that's true. And also, especially in the Clinton's era, they have been, sucking up to the Saudi Arabian princes.
Well, I'm sure they do it in the Trump era too.
Well, I'm not sure because they're kind of opposite side. But anyway,
I think the Saudi Arabians buy a lot of U.S. military gear.
Yeah, that's in the Obama period.
I'm sure it's not going to change.
No, it's changed because during Trump's election campaign, he's been using that to attack, the Clintons. So I doubt that is going to happen. Anyway, we're going back to the feedbacks of Liu Xiaobo we have seen earlier today. So.
Actually, all this campaign, it reminds me of the lead up to June 4 each year, right? In the lead up to June 4 each year, there's a lot of events and publicity to basically make Hong Kong people feel Chinese and to make them, to encourage them to go to the June 4 candlelight vigil. There's a lot of use of the emotions, like there's exploitation or manipulation of emotion.
But they want you to feel sad about them.
Yes, and it's the same thing kind of happening now, right? all this media campaign plays or exploits or manipulates the emotion of Hong Kong people, makes Hong Kong people feel Chinese. So actually, so
that's why there's some different voices. They're not expecting that. Anyway, Control Panel, would you mind showing picture JA0007, please? JA7, please. Yep. Well, so this is
our friend Daniel.
Yeah, our friend Daniel. He's been quoting Liu Xiaobo. Well, it goes like this. It's like he said 19 years ago, Liu Xiaobo criticized the development of the democracy in China. Liu Xiaobo said it takes like
300 years.
At least 300 years of
colonialism.
Yeah, colonization. Wow. So he said, well, Liu said Hong Kong took like 100 or something years of colonization to become the city like today.
Yeah.
And since China is that big,
so huge, yeah.
Of course, it takes at least another 300 years of that.
Wow.
To become a country like a place like Hong Kong. Well, and he's still having doubts whether 300 years is whether it's enough or not, because because Liu doesn't think that the generation or the sad situation of China is caused by a few bad leaders.
Right.
A few sucky leaders.
Right.
It's the responsibility of every single Chinese.
So what does this mean?
What?
What's this Lok Wu?
Oh, Lok Wu means it means being slowed or degenerate. Yeah, it's like declining or.
And what's this?
That's the opposite of. As for Lok Wu, it's the very opposite of being advanced.
Yeah.
Right. It's totally opposite. And the next one is about some foolish or some bad leaders.
Right.
So he said it's the responsibility of like virtually every single Chinese person.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a system. I mean, he said that the Chinese strategy is directed, is written, is being played by all the Chinese people. So and maybe it has something to do with the race itself.
So this is the Chinese people's fault themselves that they live under the Chinese regime.
Yes, because they let that happen.
Yeah, I mean there is 1 billion of them. If they did rebel.
Yeah, there's going to be some unstoppable force.
This is a big question when it comes to China.
Yeah.
Is it the Chinese people's fault that they have such an awful government, or is it not their fault?
No, it has something to do with the blood itself. Actually.
Really?
Yes, because
that sounds racist.
That is racist.
Yes, it
but
is
that's
racist.
also true.
Really?
Yes.
So you believe that racism is okay?
Because when it's like when you see something bad happen on the street, and if only you seeing that, maybe you're more likely to stand up and act, right? But if there's like a dozens of people out there, nobody's going to move because they'll think, oh, it's not my job. Maybe someone stronger than me or someone bolder than me will do that. The same shit happens in China as well. It's like some kind of divided kind of responsibility, which leads to slavery.
Yeah, interesting.
So anyway, let's move to the to another picture. Would you mind showing JR0001, please? JR0001, please. So this is one of my friends' comment. So
that's for friends only. You didn't anonymize it. Okay. Anyway.
I didn't, because she's making it public.
No, that's not public. It's friends only.
Well, never mind. It's already shown. Fuck me. So, so lots of people are like mourning over, you know, Liu Xiaobo's death.
Yeah.
And many of them are like, you know, it's like writing sad poems and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's finally free. He's finally out of his torment. Blah 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 blah. And this person said, "What's the fuck with all these finally free idea? Are they nuts? He's dead." It's like this person, this freedom fighter, has been being under surveillance for so long,
yep.
and has totally no freedom at all, and he died in prison.
Yes,
and he doesn't really be able to choose like the way he died.
Yeah, well,
so,
no one can really.
Yeah, he cannot go anywhere.
Yeah.
So why? So she's criticizing why all these people think that being dead is being free. So does it mean that if you are fighting for freedom, then you all go to hang yourselves, so that you got freedom? So that's some good criticizing, in my opinion.
Well, can we have a look at pick number 1, please, operator?
Operator, would you mind? Yeah.
Oh gosh.
What?
Yeah, that has to be rotated. This happened so many times.
Well, you have to rotate it, maybe.
No, I can't rotate. When I send it, it's okay. Anyway.
Anyway. So what's
if you
it about?
turn your head to 90 degrees
If
to
you
the
tilt
left,
the head a little bit.
this is a photo that I took of a chapter of a page in a book that basically is about where the Western media's propaganda. And according to the book, Liu Xiaobo would be what's known as a worthy victim.
Worthy.
Yes, because he's a victim of one of the enemies of the West. Okay? And for example, there's also unworthy victims, and they're the victims of the governments that are allied with the West, right? For example, in the 80s,
I
in
know.
South America,
I got what you mean.
there were lots of, there were killings, but they don't get the attention of the Western media because they were committed by the allies of the West.
It's about interest, actually.
Well, yes, it is about interest. And the point is, Western media is hypocritical and it's manipulative, and it's a tool of Western governments. Operator, can you please show pick 8?
And that's why recently we've got all these Trump versus CNN stuff flowing around.
Yeah, and so this is just one sentence.
Right.
So there are the violence against this guy, Polo Letzesko, who was a Polish priest that the Western media emphasized and was very sympathetic to. I think it's it's like what's happening for Liu Xiaobo now.
Is there any similar situation between these two?
Yes, because the Western media, at the time, Poland was, not an ally of the West.
Yeah, still under some Russian influence, right?
Yeah, and so basically, it's the last sentence that I'm interested in. The acts against the unworthy victims were also vicious, but they were treated very differently. Nothing special, I guess.
No, that's interesting. Right?
Can we see pick 9, operator?
Picture 9, please.
Basically, there was somebody jotted down all the headlines.
The headlines of all these newspapers.
And I was actually interested in the Apple Daily headline, which says that the regime killed him. I wonder, is that true? I mean, they put him in jail, and he basically died in jail.
Apple Daily?
Yeah.
Well, no, not the regime. Is the tyranny.
Right. Okay.
It's tyranny that killed him. and he died of cancer.
But like China didn't actually execute him, right? I mean, he died in jail.
Still, it's pure speculation. I still believe that he's actually slowly poisoned.
Okay.
Or fed something to him to drink or to eat that actually causes, cancer.
Yeah, and the point is, I guess, only 3 or 4 newspapers in Hong Kong had Liu Xiaobo on their front page today.
Yeah, and also what's worth mentioning is all these DSE elites.
Yeah.
After that examination and stuff, assessment and stuff.
Yeah.
And all these so-called best of the best students.
Yeah.
They make comments about. It's weird. It's like every time all these media asking these students questions, always involve this kind of questions, like
what
Liu Xiaobo.
Oh, did they ask him about Liu Xiaobo?
Yep. I didn't prepare it, but one of the girls from DGS said is considered to be one of the best girls' school in Hong Kong.
Amelia's school. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But that girl is so different from Amelia. I mean, she said she made some comments like, whether whether Liu Xiaobo before he's dead is just seriously ill. But whether he should be moved to another place for better medication or whatever it is so it should be at the benefit of the patients.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
And not political. I mean, without the political parts, it's all normal, right? It makes sense. But I mean, come on, since the very beginning, this is political.
Yes, it is. Yeah, exactly. So she was actually kind of basically criticizing the West.
She wants to align herself.
She was along with China.
Well, she doesn't want to get involved in this political shit.
Yeah, we probably should. Yeah, I mean, she's probably just very young. We shouldn't make any criticisms of her. It was probably.
It was because she's scared her future is screwed by that comment. I mean, it's understandable, but still, that's kind of
screwed by who?
Her own speech.
Yeah, but who is she in trouble with? China or the West?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Maybe she's just scared.
Okay.
But that's with Hong Kong people. It's like whenever it's about politics, it's like it's always dirty. It's like you shouldn't talk about that. It's like that's what happened in the past, but not now. People are getting more aware because of that. But anyway, wow, it seems that time flies really quick.
Yeah, we're finished already.
Yeah, and stay tuned for the third part of Boiling Point.
經錯過我哋精彩嘅節目，而家上嚟呢個網址就可以訂閱晒我哋8大頻道，付費之後仲可以重溫晒所有精彩嘅節目。記得要訂閱我哋嘅 YouTube channel 同埋讚好我哋嘅 Facebook 專頁啊！